Hello, Recon87 here, and we're back with some combat mission Battle for Normandy, where we have rejoined the 9th Cameronians defending the Haut de Bosq from the German counterattack. So I should probably kick things off by identifying the elephant in the room, which I'm sure a number of you will have picked up on in the last video, and thanks to Michael Olsen for pointing this out in the comments, is that just above the 54th minute mark, we actually scored a hit on this tiger with most likely our AT gun, and we got a penetration of the turret. So the whole tail end of last episode, where I was bemoaning my AT and not being able to spot anything, and in fact they done exactly what we'd asked of them in spotting the top of the tank over a hedge and putting a round into it. Now obviously we're not seeing any big black pillars of smoke, so it's not a complete destruction of the vehicle, but they may well have abandoned it, and in any case the main gun is going to be inoperable after a hit like that, so not something we have to worry about. So what that does mean is that on this left hand flank, all that the Germans have left is 2 half-tracks with machine guns, obviously one of which we know about here, the other one last seen in these woods, and obviously supporting infantry. So in about 8 minutes or so, when we do get our armoured support in, that means I think it's 2 Shermans and 1 Firefly, we can roll up a Sherman in this area and essentially dominate that, and there's nothing they can do to really kind of hurt the Sherman, obviously beyond the really short range kind of Panzerfaust anti-tank weapons that infantry have, but we shouldn't be that close to them. But that's really good, and has solved a significant problem which I was slightly concerned about. On the right hand flank, it's not quite as rosy a situation. Obviously we have taken a 1 half-track. They do still have a second half-track with a I can't remember the caliber of the gun on it. There you go, 75mm kind of infantry support gun, and that it continues to cause us problems. We have lost most of our forces we held in there, so the Germans are no doubt pushing into these buildings. Another excellent point raised by Michael was around the varying degrees of cover you get from buildings, and pointing that the use of barns, such as these kind of barn structures here, which we're in, provides significantly less defense than buildings. So this is something which is not actually covered in the combat mission manual. I've read through that thoroughly, but I was doing a bit of digging on the various forums after receiving that comment, and it does seem to be a general consensus among players that the kind of penetration of different building materials is modelled in game, and therefore things like barns, which tend to be constructed of much more flimsier material, are essentially just going to get your guys shredded. So good bit of advice, and I'll be doing what I can to kind of pull my remaining troops out of these structures, and again kind of being a bit more careful about where I place them in the future. But good bit of knowledge, which unfortunately not covered in the manual, despite how thorough it usually is. So in terms of main battle plans, we are sending some reinforcements over this right hand flank. We got the D company entered a couple of minutes ago, so it'll take them a few more minutes to work their way across the map. We had split them, so I think there's HQ and 1 section is coming up to the centre, and I'll probably swing them over to the right again, because we are going to need to reinforce here, and it will just be a bit of hold, but I suspect we're going to have to go out and do a little bit of digging out of Germans towards the end of the mission. One thing to know, it is now 9:30 at night, so it is going to start kind of getting dark, so that may affect kind of our visibility in sight, so we'll have to see how that plays into things. I've already mentioned the armoured support, which should be coming about 8 minutes. Before that, in about 3 minutes time, we should be getting some 25 pounders off my artillery, and I think the key role from that is if we've still got reasonable sight lines from one of these HQ units, and this truck hasn't moved, we'll see if we can drop a couple of rounds in there, and to be honest, we'll probably just keep battering this position, because it's really the only kind of concentration of Germans worried about. The mortar barrage, which is ongoing, so that's from the 81mm mortars. There's only, I think they've got 11 rounds left for this barrage, so that'll finish probably next minute by the time they do the travel time. And over here we've still got I can't remember, something like 30 or 40, because we're on a much lighter intensity, so that'll continue for a fair few minutes to come. The only other thing we need to watch out for the next minute is whether our AT gun, who I'm not going to complain about, whether they can get eyes on this half-track here. So again, not something we are necessarily concerned about, but it would certainly be nice to kind of take it out. So the unit itself they claim not to be able to see it. They can know something's roughly there, but don't know what. But if you actually come down to kind of trooper level and just use the kind of look and zoom function, make sure pan up. So this is not moving the camera forward, but just increasing the zoom. You can see they do get a reasonable view of the top of the vehicle and obviously the mount there. So hopefully they can pick that up and take a bot shot. Obviously, like I said, it is a bit foggy, starting to get dark, and it's not, you know, not a complete vehicle we can see. So we'll see. They might not be able to get the view on, but we can hope. We can certainly hope. And yeah, and that's probably about it in terms of orders. So I think really we'll just be kind of play through the next minute and see how it goes. I think maybe we'll split it in half because I think otherwise don't want to lose any action like we did last time. So let's start with this half over here. Yeah, and we'll see if we can either get a spot off Raytheon, or we have got this Piet team coming into this hedgerow as well. Oh, actually, excellent. We've got, so I'll not rewind it just now. But so you saw some fire coming in, just machine guns, and we saw a little casualty symbol. So even just some machine gun fires managed to catch one of the guys standing up in the back, because we don't have obviously perfect protection. Yeah. It looks like our Piet team doesn't quite view them, and they're running away anyway. So I did bring up an additional unit support, just hopefully going to get a bit better fire on the Germans in the field. However, that is inviting some unpleasant fire from the other half-track with the machine gun. Although let's say we have got an injury off there. I'd like to check both those to see how they're getting on. I was hopeful one of his mortar rounds might do a little bit of damage to his half-tracks, but I suppose that's a fair degree of luck required there. But these will continue to come in. Right, let's have a look. What have we spotted here? Oh, that's just a symbol for that half-track. Oh no, that's another one. Oh, okay. So all that stuff I was saying about nothing else to worry about, not necessarily true. So we've got another, so we've got a 20mm cannon there. Okay. Interesting, good to know. So if we skip back. So yeah, we can see just from a small arms fire, we've managed to take out one of the guys in here, and there's not that many in here in terms of crew. Yeah, just the two. And there goes the gunner. So, I mean, they could put other people in there, but I don't know how smart the AI is about that. And if they don't, that is now essentially useless as a weapons platform. So we'll have to see. I've not got a huge amount of experience in terms of seeing if the AI refit their... Not refit, but, you know, put people in their vehicles when they get injured. Right, and if we go all the way back to the beginning, again, we got pretty lucky with a shot from here as well. And there, he's down as well. Perfect. So again, just a driver. So that was actually a really good turn in terms of those two. So potentially both those taking out, which will put some pressure off our inventory. Although we've got this 20mm autocannon to deal with, and it looked like I had a machine gun placement as well. So we'll have to see what we can do about that. Since we do get, I think it's 2 batteries of a field gun, so it might be useful to concentrate a bit of fire on him. Meanwhile, over here, it's just going to be a question of kind of how much pain this kind of gun puts us through. Because we don't have an answer for it just yet. So we are moving these guys out of these barns, just take up position in these buildings, although the Germans are pushing in at the same time, so that's unfortunate. In fact, he looks like he's just had enough. Again, other way potentially is obviously if we get lucky with injuring some of the guys, although they look like they're having absolute none of it. Or is it doing okay? We're not quite hitting where we need them to. These guys have had enough. They're just going to run away. You are not going to stand up very well on your own, mate. Yeah, a few shaky troops for sure. Yeah. Really want to bring our tanks over and dig that out. Okay. Not great, not the worst in the world, but certainly not great. Really, our kind of, I suppose our best plan for over here is probably just staying out the way until we get that backup and that support. I'm going to bring these guys out, and I want them to join their other riflemen in the bottom half of this building. Again, just to defend from any Germans pushing around the sides. We do have a brain carrier here, who should be providing a little bit of support in terms of machine gun fire. Obviously can't do much against that truck. Meanwhile, all the guys who are rattled. Yeah, these guys are a bit chewed up. So maybe it might be a case of trying to keep our heads down for a little bit. Because they've got, yeah, we did have, and we didn't get it catch on camera, but our Piat team, there we go. So this was a surviving member of Piat team, and I had sent him over here to see if he could medic and pick up the gun. And I think he's been picked off by some of the Germans supporting these buildings. You guys are not in a great position. Do you know what? I'm going to tell you, just take your head down for now, because I don't think you're going to be much use of anyone. Yeah, so I think it's going to be a case of just kind of hold the, this kind of back position. Try not to attract too much fire, and then come dig it out with the armor. Meanwhile, so I'm not sure how happy these chaps are going to be standing here, given that auto cannon, which I'm assuming, yeah, they have sight of. So, do you know what? As much as I'd love to get a bit of a flank and deal with the rest of these Germans in the field, I'm going to take discretion as a better part of valor and pull these two guys back. I'm just going to do that. Okay, pull these two guys back. I don't think they're going to be able to stand up there, and having that knowledge, I think, is useful enough. And hopefully we've chewed them up enough that they can't push forward. Now that we know the tiger's gone, he's lost his gunner, I'm sorely tempted to pull this Piat out. We do have another one coming over here, but it would be really useful to probably get one, even just in at least one team in the base of this building, to provide opportunity in case it makes a bit of a break for it. Take up a different position, and then we still have one in reserve. So, do you know what? I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. Alright, I'll go plug that in. Okay, so we've got him coming across. They're not in a great state. They're tired, he's a bit broken. So probably not going to be that effective, but I think useful to have, at least as an option, if nothing else. And with that, let's just hit play on the next minute. I'm not expecting too much to happen. I think we're going to be fairly stagnant over here. Yeah, that auto cannon is shredding those guys. And we've got an MG troops here we have to worry about. Again, once we get some armor support, that's not going to be much of an issue. We just have to watch out. Hopefully we can punch a hole in this if we get too close to it. Oh, and it might be moving. Again, I kind of... Oh, he has done. So he has pushed up super close with this half-track. Yeah. And they're doing horrible things to our troops in this building. Well, some of these mortars might look good, but we won't get eyes on it for a while. Ouch. Ouch. These poor riflemen not standing up very well. Yeah, it's now that if only I had that Piat team over here, we'd be able just to kind of pop round the corner, take a shot at him. So this... No, he's up in this window, okay. Yeah, you're gonna have... We will come back for you. Maybe not today. Well, definitely today, but maybe not in the next few minutes. Yeah, and they've been booted out of their viewpoint up here. Okay, not a problem. I would like Again, these guys aren't in a great condition, but I would like to try and reinforce this ground floor. Because I do think they might try and push some more infantry in. So I'm going to move some of these units over. Alright, so I've shuffled not that many, but just a couple more guns away from the centre position, which I'm, don't feel threatened in at all, just into this lower level of this first house, again just prevent an infantry push into this corner. Probably can't do too much to protect against infantry pushes throughout these buildings, and then I've just given some further orders to move this reserve platoon just up into this general area. Again, I think we'll see how we get on, but certainly with that half-track roaming around, unless I get pretty fortunate with some of the Piats I'm bringing in, it might be a case of kind of just trying to hold our ground until we get that tank support. But without further ado, we will hit the next minute, and we will keep on rolling. So again, he's just kind of keeping himself tucked away in there. Seems to have made it into these houses, actually. Okay. We have lost a reasonable number of HQ units. Our other problem is being, okay, we're going to get the artillery support in the next minute or so, but we need someone with the ability to call it in. So we've got one, he's recovered now. So we had one HQ unit who's kind of controlling this bombardment, and we did have another one, but who was shattered, but they've pulled themselves together a little bit, which is good. All pretty quiet apart from that. Again, these mortars do look pretty good, so we should be causing a reasonable number of headache for the guys in there. 25 pounders, excellent. Not necessarily in a position to use them straight away. So I'm going to need you, who is just the commander, to get back into a building where you have eyes on the other side of Gretel. And we're going to have to do a little bit of, not quite danger close, but pretty close calling in. So please get yourself back into this position. Yeah, and don't shoot at anything. Just don't. I'm slightly concerned about his survivability, I'm not going to lie. But I don't think we've got anyone else who's got really the visibility to call in a strike on this area. Meanwhile, on this side of the world, hopefully this chap can call in our strike on these guys here. So, it's just one battery we've got. Alright. What's the call-in time? 15 minutes. Well, that sucks. It's a long time. So I had thought we could, drop some rounds on there. But I would rather get in position to drop rounds on here. So I'm going to have to wait a moment or a minute. And not kind of target that vehicle. So I am tempted to try and keep this guy around in case they make a big push forward with that. Although it's only 5 minutes we got to survive before the tanks come in. Although I think they were an asterisk, so it might not be bang on the 40 minute mark they come in. Alright, I'm gonna ponder this one for a minute. Okay, so made a few decisions there. So the general strategy, I think, given that we've got quite a long delay for these guns coming in, and by that point we'll have our tanks and start swinging them in. But I think it's going to be to pull back slightly from this end of Gretel. Not that we've got a lot left there, to be honest, but we're going to pull this Bren carrier back. I think this guy is toast, unfortunately. And then we will get our H unit, hopefully get up in there, keep his head down and call in those pounders and just kind of smash this place in with as much artillery as we can muster. And then we can push in the last kind of half an hour or so with the reinforcements of D Company and the artillery support that we have. And obviously before then, they may keep pushing, and obviously they've still got that half track, which is causing us no end of problems. So I'm going to keep this Piet team around. I'm just tucking them in. Going a bit closer, just in on this little wall here. So they are kind of not exposed to incoming fire from kind of the Germans in these positions. Also, any Germans do kind of push in this way, they'll tackle the house, and similarly anyone coming down the road should get caught by the guys in the house first, but gives us a little bit of flexibility in case they make a mad push with this half track. I've also split up this. This is one of the reinforcing sections from D Company. Split them up, and I'm just going to pull them back slightly and take up some positions just in this building, in this hedge line. Again, just provide an additional line of fire just in case the Germans do decide to push in this way. I'd be surprised. I don't know how much gas they've really got left in the tank here, but I want to be prepared for that. And yeah, I think it's going to be a case of wait for the heavy guns and the armour and then make a counterattack. Which means I am going to keep this chap over in this area to act as a bit of defence in case that half track comes knocking. Although we do have the AT gun, so it's not a complete write-off, but so it gives a bit more flexibility. We can't really move that guy around a lot. But I'm just going to kind of keep him in the back line, I think, at the moment. And that's about it. So without further ado, let's push on with the next minute. So interesting enough, we currently have no solid contacts of German units. So we'll have to see how that pans out. And I'm quite content if it stays that way, to be perfectly honest. Oh, some guys coming in. That's okay. At least this team is not exposed to any of the positions they have along here. Hopefully our HQ can get into a position in this building and we can call in those 5-pounders.
Hello, round complete. End of mission, out.
Oh, there we go, and that's that mortar barrage finally finished. Which I think served us very well. But we'll see if they now make a push. The last of these rounds have come in. But I think that's done a great job at just kind of stalling them and harassing them, and really just buying us time. I suppose what this kind of defence is all about. I've got a little German spot there by you who should not be engaging. Okay, done. Quiet. Quiet is good. Now this is certainly a risk with this chap that he gets spooked and says, actually, you know what, I'm having a bad day, not interested. Where can you see something like that? Let's do that. I mean, well, that's horribly close. Definite scope for us taking a few casualties here. So maybe I'll bring it in a bit. Just something like that. Use 4 of them. Let's go heavy. I'm tempted just to go, you know, use a lot. I think no, let's do it a long, because to be honest, by the time this is up and done, we're going to be down at a half-a-minute mark. Am I really going to have another good target for the artillery? And my answer is possibly not. So let's just maybe not go, definitely not go maximum, but long I think will be good. Potentially overkill, but that's fine. Confirm. And now we just have to hope that he stays there long enough with his head down to get the call in and get the spotting done. Otherwise I'll be pretty upset. Right. This sole German hiding in a foxhole. What kind of views? I mean, you're just facing the wrong way, mate. At least, you know, pretend you're looking out where the Germans are actually. Again, it might be worth bringing some people just into this first story building. Hopefully it's not too exposed to make get the odd view. So I could certainly do that with one of my reserve platoons. Do I want to put a whole platoon in? That's risky. A lot of firepower, but a lot of exposure, especially to the likes of a explosion. So potentially not, but tell you what I'll do, I'll move their Bren section in, which is very valuable, don't get me wrong. I mean, these British infantry companies, you know, the riflemen have pretty poor firepower. You know, it's bolt action rifles, and the Brens are really the workhorse, so, you know, do not throw them away lightly. But you are now released from your duties over there, and so in fact, you know what, there's an even better idea. I'll move you in instead. Just come over here, and you can clear your target area. You have your job, and I will hold you back for now. But I will get you to move, probably just... I just want to move you just off this road, just in case it does come under fire. Alright, you can go stand in this building, please. I didn't mean to pick up that story, but that's fine. You guys are just chilling. Do you know what? Come back inside this compound. Again, just to kind of keep you out of the way. Don't attract too much fire, and I will bring you in if we get serious pressure over here, but hopefully we should have enough oomph to repel some infantry attacks. And again, bigger concern is if they bring that half-track into play. Okay, let's go the next minute. Interesting to see if we get any more pushes from the left now that mortar barrage has stopped. All quiet. Interesting. So potentially they're now just going to take up a defensive position here. No, there they come again. Doesn't look like we're getting particularly far. And we do actually, we've got this mortar here, so it's from the reserve company. We could just drop some rounds in if we feel it's necessary. Oh look, they've pushed it all the way in here. We should be able to outgun them at this range. Probably go ahead and have another quick look, see how that fared. Yeah, we'll jump back to the last 10 seconds. So what have we got eyes on? Oh, there he is there. Hard to spot. No, he's dead. He's dead. Just you. Sole trooper who's been having a bad day. Okay. Not too concerned about that then. These guys seem to be doing their job and holding off anyone that's come close, and these guys will definitely add good weight to that firepower. Okay. Oh well, didn't get to see the action yet, but that is fine. Alright, pretty satisfied with that. Don't have any other adjustments to do, so I'm gonna, yeah, let's just jump forward in the next minute. Hopefully we'll see these icons disappear through injury. Oh, really quiet, not even shots. Oh, so he's, I suppose he has gone to ground, so he's heading from these troops, but as soon as he pops up, oh, looks like we did take an injury though when he unsuppressed himself. Or became unsuppressed, I should say. Oh, there he goes at least. It looks like we did take an injury. But we have silenced that squad, so that's good. What we got left in here in terms of bodies. That's, yeah, that's reasonably strong force actually. No, I'm pretty pleased with that. I'm tempted to actually drop some of these HE rounds in, just because we do get a full replenishment after this, and we don't have any other particular use for them. Might be useful just to, you know, throw some in here. What we know a guy is disrupt any other Germans who've got in there. Interestingly, they haven't pushed in on this building yet, but let's do that. And again, I'm just going to jump forward. Absolutely no movement over here, which I'm happy with. We're in a defensive. We don't need to try and push forward to clear them out. As fun as and as tempting as that be from a gameplay perspective. Yeah, we've got to focus on defense first. Out to go the mortars. I was tempted, if their half-track had stayed in this kind of area, to just drop the 12 or so they've got on it. Again, need a bit of a luck to actually do something worthwhile, but would have been a reasonable use for them. Oh, so that might have got them to break. He's definitely lost sight of them. Whoa, that one's a bit wild. Hang on, lads. Don't correct from a right target to a wrong one. Yeah, look, it looks like they're really pushing in here in numbers, which is fine. Because we're going to drop a whole bunch of artillery on them. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick a quick pause in the video, and I'm going to play the next minute. And if something interesting happens, I'll bring you back. If we just run through it, I'll just catch the other side, because there's no point staring at a ticking down clock if nothing's going on. Okay, so we've got to the end of that minute. Nothing too interesting happened within the minute, but we have got an interesting scenario at the very end. So there was a German infantry squad pushed in here, changed their mind, and are now running away. But we have had a squad push into this area. So again, I think he's this chap's not following it. But we've also had one lone rifleman make it all the way down to here. Not quite sure exactly where he's going, but no one seems to have noticed him thus far. So, again, a bit of a mistake on my part. My Bren, when it got to this position, was supposed to have turned around to face this way to stop exactly that. So, a bit of an error on my part. But we should have plenty of vision from these guys, so I'll probably issue some fire orders. If they, in fact, who can see this guy? How can no one see him? Interesting. So what should happen is whoever can see him is highlighted. Anyway, we'll get some people to convince him he's doing a bad plan. A bad plan, making a bad move. So let's do that. I'll do that right now. Okay, so I've got this Bren carrier. He's going to turn around. I've also grabbed the Bren team over here, or detachment. And I'm just a target light over here, which should be more than enough to convince him, or at least to suppress him long enough from Bren carrier to turn around and realise there's a German about 20 metres away from him. So we are getting slightly long with the video, but I do want to roll one more turn before we go. And do you know what, let's just do it. We shall do it live action, just to see what happens with this chap over here. Oh, he is really going for it. Man, that Bren turned slowly. So again, that's our press fire just on an area objective. He may have ducked into it. No, he's in the foxhole. Not foxhole. In the crater. So hopefully he will turn around and see him. Interesting to wonder if his mates are going to come around the corner as well. Which should present a nice little target for this guy if they do. Oh, that's them bringing the half track into play. Thankfully not getting fire right. Go on, son. There we go. Yeah, they've commenced. Actually, that was a bad idea. So this was what was supposed to happen first time round. Although, I suppose somewhat ironically, given that it was one man, and this time it's been a whole team, then I've actually got more combat kills out of it. Oof. Okay, so what? 2 deaths and 1 man surrendering. Who's the first guy round, I believe. And then you are tucked right in the corner, causing me problems. Have I expended all your rounds? Yes. Oops. Okay, fine. No tanks as yet, so we're going to have to wait for them to come. I'm just going to put a tiny pause in here and just rewatch your action, just make sure nothing happened over here that I missed. Yeah, as anticipated, no other spot sounds or any movement of any other variety over here, so it does look like they've very much given up any kind of push for Hansel, so all does seem to be resting on Gretel. Yeah, so still no armor support, so we're going to have to hopefully have them in the next few minutes, but you just don't know with these kind of asterisks for exactly the timings. But all that is going to have to wait for the next video, so thanks very much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, please do hit that subscribe button so you'll see more of my content when it goes live in future, and yeah, feel free to drop a comment below. I do love the interaction I get. But thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.